Hey guys, if you guys see this video right now, then congratulations, you found my sick early access channel. That's incredible, wow, you get a gold star. Now subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Alright, now for video.
Sega!
What is up, my fellow youths? Welcome back to MythGamers. Recently, I've been addicted to a game known as Celeste, or more specifically, the mod known as Celeste Strawberry Jam. Celeste Strawberry Jam is like the sequel to Celeste we will never get. The mod is divided into 5 lobbies: Beginner, Intermediate, Advanced, Expert, and Grandmaster, each one becoming harder and harder, testing your platforming skills. With each new lobby, new strategies, usually called tech, are introduced, usually being the main way to get around said lobby. This begs the question: can we beat a lobby without its tech? Let's ask. Can you beat a Celeste Strawberry Jam intermediate lobby without using intermediate tech? By now, before we get into the run, you know that we need to disclose a few things. I'll also be using the Steam version of Celeste with the latest version of Everest installed. Obviously, Celeste Strawberry Jam will be installed, but there are a few other mods that I recommend having installed for this challenge. First, Tech Announcer, a mod that announces the tech you do. It doesn't announce all tech, especially holdable tech, but it does announce most movement tech. So, while it won't be perfect, I did turn it on to dispute some questionable movement to see if said movement was actually considered tech. Secondly, Eevee Skin Mod, because Glaceon is adorable. Thirdly, Task Helper will be very important for a reason disclosed later in the run. Last but certainly not least, CelesteNet, a mod that allows you to play online with other Celeste players, will be very helpful. Obviously, interactions are banned, but this mod has another use. You see, there will be puzzles in this challenge you may not be able to figure out. You are not perfect, no one is. And meaning some people are just better than you at certain things. And because of this, if you explain the challenge to a fellow Celeste player, they may find the solution before you do, which can help a lot. It's also just fun to have some buddies to do the challenge with sometimes. All 3 mods I just recommended are linked in the description and will be very easy to install. Next up, music credits. Most of the music will be from Celeste Strawberry Jam mod and other games such as LEGO Dimensions and Plock, but a few songs will be from the legendary Legend of Renegade on YouTube. Again, the Legend of Renegade makes great Sega Genesis style remixes of music from basically anywhere, and they're really awesome. Links to both their channels are in the description below. While I'm crediting the music, one thing I'd also like to give credit to is the Mount Celeste Climbing Association Discord and its Celeste Help channel. The people in this channel have been so helpful for this challenge, not only helping me theorize how to complete it, but also helping me pull off many of the hardest tricks seen in the run. If you are interested in the link to Discord is in the description below. One more thing I'd like to credit here is the Celeste Strawberry Jam all levels task. So many strategies from this task were used in this run. If you are a fan of Strawberry Jam, I recommend watching it after this video. The link is in the description. It is a great run. Before getting to the run, I need to explain the rules of this run. The rules of the run are both straightforward and complicated at the same time. There are 7 types of tech in the Intermediate Gym. We are not, for the most of the time, not allowed to use any of the tech taught in the Intermediate Gym. These are hyper dashes, super dashes, wall bounces, fast bubbling, holdable lifts, neutral drops, and jelly regrabs. A hyper dash is when you dash diagonally into the ground, then jump, resulting in a long jump that doesn't give much height. A super dash is the opposite. It's when you dash on the ground and then jump, allowing for a jump that is high and gives a small amount of distance. A wall bounce is when you dash up, lined up with a wall, and then jump before the dash ends, resulting in a bounce off the wall that can give both height and distance. A fast bubble is when you dash before a bubble moves to make said bubble move immediately. Fast bubbling is not dashing to cancel a red bubble, That is called bubble canceling. A holdable lift is when you throw a holdable at the wall, such as the jellyfish or Theo, and then dash up to re-grab the holdable, usually resulting in an upward boost. A neutral drop is when you hold down after picking up a holdable to drop said holdable. How the hell is this tech? Lastly, a jelly re-grab is when you throw a jellyfish mid-air, then dash up diagonally to re-grab the jellyfish. These are 7 techniques that we are almost never allowed to perform. The only time we are allowed to perform these techniques is when said tech is combined to make a bigger tech. For example, all vaders, such as jelly vaders and Theo vaders, are allowed even if they technically require a neutral drop to perform. Now, why am I allowing this? Well, not all new versions of tech are being allowed. It's more about new versions of tech that was obviously not intended of that tech in this lobby. Using vaders, which is when you neutral drop a holdable, then dash up and pick up the holdable again. As an example, neutral drops were meant for dropping holdables with precise timing in the intermediate lobby. After neutral dropping a holdable, you were never meant to pick up the holdable again until it hits the ground. This means that we're completely allowed to do a neutral drop when performing a vader, because we're just picking it up again after dropping it, and it never hits the ground before we pick it up again. This is just one example of the many schematics in this episode. Trust me, major schematics warning in this episode. Now that I've explained the rules for this run, this is usually where I like to go over our moveset for the run, but I've figured out that this video is structured a lot better if I go through the moveset as it starts to get used. So I thought, why not do that instead? So for a bit of extra information though, this challenge is mostly expert difficulty, but there is a few levels that cross into Grandmaster territory. I will also be going for as many berries as possible in this lobby, which for this lobby it's going to be 50 berries. I'll be covering the levels in journal order, even though that's not the order I played them for, and as long as you've beaten past the intermediate lobby of Strawberry Jam, you can expect no spoilers for the entirety of Advanced Lobby and beyond for Strawberry Jam. Now that we've got all this jibble-jabble out of the way, it's time to finally get into the actual run. For the lobby, there's not much to say here other than the fact that we don't need any intermediate tech to get to any of the levels, and therefore we can access all the levels without using any intermediate tech. Lobbies in Celeste Strawberry Jam are divided into 3 difficulties: green, yellow, and red. Green is your easiest level in the lobby. They're usually themed around a certain tech or a few techs of the lobby, and therefore they're trying to teach you about that certain tech. Your yellow is your mid-range. This is where more tech of the lobby will start to be added on, and you'll also start to see more experimental ideas in these levels. And then red is your hardest, usually testing the player the most they ever could for that lobby. With that said, let's start this lobby and get into the green levels. We're starting off the intermediate lobby in Sleeping Under the Stars, the level where we get to know the jellyfish tech of the intermediate lobby. How fun! But the level starts us off just going into 4 separate rooms, to collect 4 keys, like we normally do on a day. In the left key room, we're intended to use jellyfish regrabs to gain height and get over all this electricity, but we're obviously going to need a different approach for this challenge. You see, it's possible to smuggle holdables into dream blocks. To do this, we'll need to hold the grab button once we start the dash animation. But this needs to happen before we actually get into the dream block, so we need to grab the jellyfish before we end up reaching the dream block itself. How does this help us? Well, for now, we can dash to the dream block and grab the jellyfish on the other side and smuggle it back through. But after that, we can then transition into the other room that's right to the right of us and get a second jellyfish. Now, you might be wondering what the heck we're doing here, but just trust the process. Let the man cook. Now, walk up to the dream block, carrying the jellyfish, and throw it behind you against the edge of the screen. The jellyfish will bounce back, ricochet, perfectly aligned in the perfect spot for the jelly smuggle, and set it up perfectly. From there, smuggle the jellyfish into the dream block and dream grab the dream block when coming out of the dream block. And for context, a dream grab is a very simple piece of Celeste movement tech. Just hold the opposite direction of your travel and grab well in a dream block to grab the dream block. After that, do a full height wall jump and throw the jellyfish at the peak of your jump. Then grab the second jellyfish while holding up to float to the left and throw the second jellyfish back, then re-grab the first jellyfish dashing up left. If you did it right, you barely have enough height to clear the electricity. Now hold on there. Wait a minute, didn't we just re-grab the jellyfish? Yes. Isn't that against the rules? In this case, no. The game specifically describes jelly re-grabbing as throwing a jellyfish, then dashing up diagonally to re-grab it. Now let's check the definition of then. Google tells us it's a synonym for next. Here, after we threw the jellyfish, dashing up diagonal to re-grab it was not the next thing we did. Instead, we grabbed a second jellyfish and threw that one before dashing up diagonally to re-grab the first one. Because of this and many other situations like this are completely legal for the challenge, and yep, again, major schematics warning. Now sadly, the room isn't done. After dashing through the second dream block, we need to perform a dream jump. A dream jump is a pretty well-known tech in Celeste as well. Just press jump when exiting a dream block. After dream jumping out of this dream block, immediately start holding right and grab the jellyfish. From here, we need to perform a jellyvator. To perform a jellyvator, neutral drop a jellyfish in the air, then dash upward to re-grab the jellyfish. I already explained why doing a neutral drop here is allowed, so I will not be repeating myself. If we perform the jellyvator just right here, we'll just barely gain enough height to grab our first key. The top room is a lot easier. It gets us used to doing jellyvators for sure. This jellyvator right here is kind of tight, but if you do it in the right spot and make sure to hold upright immediately after performing the jellyvator, you can barely make it over the electricity. After that, grabbing our second key is trivial. The bottom room is just like normal, except we replace the jelly regrab at the end with a jellyvator. And the right room is the same as normal, also allowing us to grab all 4 keys and head up. This next room looks like the intended way could be possible, but I never bothered to try because that's lame. Instead, jump off these 2 pufferfish and then do a full height jellyvator in between the spikes and this touch switch floor to just barely grab the edge of it. After that, don't forget to grab this berry, which is stupidly hidden in the wall. The next room is pretty normal, just replacing the forced jelly regrabs with jellyvators. But the next room forces us to do near perfect jellyvators and forces us to learn another new trick, launch boosting. A launch boost is when you hold away from an exploding item, such as a pufferfish or bumpers, to get extra distance from said explosion. We can use the launch boost here to gain extra distance, then perform a second jellyvator to reach the second pufferfish. There, complete the room just like normal, which leads us to our first heart. After taking a nap under the stars, we can head into Frosted Fragments, where we have a much easier time. The main idea of this level is these blocks you can dash into and push them. Fast bubbling may have made our time easier here to allow us to move faster, but as long as you really hurry on some of the quick time sections of the level, you can barely make it through every obstacle in this level without intermediate tech, giving us our second heart and our second and third strawberries of the playthrough. Our next level to tackle is 5th Dimension. This level is fully based around the wall bounce and is therefore the most annoying level so far. The first room is easy, and the second room is quite easy too as well, since we can skip this wall bounce by doing a wall jump and then dashing to grab the touch switch and then proceeding as normal. Unfortunately, this next room isn't as easy. To skip this wall bounce, you need to dash up and grab the wall, then climb up until it looks like you're just barely inside the spinner, but you're really not because of hitboxes. For reference, this blue pointy thing right here, that's a spinner. They come in all different colors, and this term will be important later. From there, we need to perform a neutral jump. Neutral jumps are wall jumps performed without holding a direction or the climb button. This allows us to start holding back towards the wall after we just jumped off it sooner, and allows us to climb walls without using any stamina. This move can also get us around things like spinners. After neutral jumping around this spinner, when you hit the wall above, immediately do a climb jump, as otherwise you'll die. From there, do a neutral jump and grab this wall. From there, it's a bit finicky what we're going to do here, but we just need to jump off the wall and get corner corrected on this next wall. Said corner correction will give us enough distance to make it over the crystal to the crystal, and then finish the room like normal. Usually you get corner corrected if you are within 4 pixels of a wall, so keep this in mind when landing the last jump. But do know it's very finicky, as I could only get this to work once. The corner correction isn't required here, as we could also do a shorter wall jump with more distance, thanks to the fact that you can be 2 pixels away from a wall when making a wall jump. After that room, we have another wall bounce to skip, but this one isn't as easy, as we need 2 dashes to skip it, but we need another dash after nabbing the touch switch, and jumps from the wall weren't getting me enough height or distance, so unfortunately we seem to be out of luck. Which is what I would say, but I am a persistent man, and I will not stop until this room is finished. Yeah, this may sound childish, but if this room doesn't want to be possible, then I'm just gonna wait until the room changes till I can get my way. Alright, well, it's been about a day, and nothing about the room seems to have changed. I am persistent though, so I'm just gonna keep waiting until I die on this hill, or something changes, you know? Yeah, I'm just kind of being hopeful here. So yeah, I've just kind of been waiting here, just, you know, watching a few movies on my phone, sleeping, taking naps. The background seems to stop scrolling, so maybe it'll change the room soon, maybe? Alright, we're about to pass 3 days, and unfortunately, nothing's changed. I just can't anymore! Why wouldn't they make it possible? Alright guys, it's been over 5 days at this point. I'm so sorry about my outburst. I really should just be more mature. There's no way the room is just going to change, so I think I'm just going to kill myself one more time for old time's sake, and then be, wait. Am I inside the spinners? No, I didn't turn on assist mode, and yes, I do have some explaining to do. For performance reasons, the game doesn't check collision with every spinner. Instead, spinners start off as uncollidable, and only when the player gets close, they become collidable and start killing the player. For convenience sake, even though it may not be correct, I'll mostly use the word load to refer to this as an action. To also aid performance, spinners only become collidable every 3 frames. Every frame, spinners check using the variable time app if they should load, and are effectively sorted into 3 groups, which are group checks that frame, as you see by the red, blue, and yellow spinners here. When you pause, spinners can't load. However, time active does increment by 10 frames and always 10 frames. Because each group of spinners thinks it should be able to load on a certain frame, if we were to say pause on that 3rd frame every time, then the game wouldn't load that group of spinners because we skipped the frame in which those spinners were loaded. This is called a spinner stun, and doing this, we could easily move through the room. But we're human people, and that precise of inputs is not gonna happen with us. So instead, The human solution is wait 5 days? Are you kidding me? There is a floating point variable in the game called time active, and as mentioned, spinners are time active. Time active is a number that normally incremented every frame. However, because of the way floating point numbers work, there comes a time where you will lose precision with an incredibly large number due to rounding. This is because there is limited space to store the floating point number, so when trying to express a very large number, the ending digits cannot be stored. When the number is large enough, these missing digits can make it so that adding a smaller number can no longer increase the bigger number. And in this case, this lost precision doesn't come until the number reaches to about 2 to the 19th power. Because at 2 to the 19th power, floats can only represent multiples of 1/16th, since 1/60th is closer to 0, and then 1/16th it rounds down and stays the same. This means that instead of the game loading group 1 of the spinners, and then group 2, then group 3, and repeating, it only always loads group 2. The floating point number reaches this amount when the game thinks it's been open for about 118 hours, but because the game's clock is a bit fast by about 0.02 seconds, meaning that'll actually happen after waiting for about 115.7 hours. Or after watching K-pop Demon Hunters about 75 times in a row. You're all that I think of, every drop I drink of. Shit, I'm not supposed to like this movie. Once we have watched the world's greatest movie about 75 times in a row, the normal increments won't change the floating point numbers since it is so large. And since the value isn't changing, spinner collision will no longer load, unloading 2/3 of all spinners. This technique is called spinner freeze, and it is not the only time this will be utilized. Thanks to this technique, we can easily skip this wall bounce and head into the next room. Now do be careful, as 1/3 of the spinners are still loaded and can very much still kill you. Fortunately, the fabled task helper mod can help you out here. Press the key to the left of the 1 key, and you know that if you're cool, you'll be able to see all the hitboxes of the spinners. Notice the ones that are red will kill you, and the blue ones won't. Even if you did spinner freeze though, through lots of testing, there's only 1 room blocking us from being in this level without spinner freeze. So even though the level is quite easy with spinner freeze on, I feel I should run through how to beat the rest of the level without spinner freeze. Our next room to tackle is actually more of a puzzle than anything. Usually you would have to do this wall bounce that just is really lame. Instead of that, by going back to the beginning of the room after hitting the touch switch, we can use both our dashes to get up this wall and drop through the hole. This doesn't mean that getting back there is very easy, as we'll need to manage the spacing of our dashes, but if we do it right, we can just barely parse out a way to get back and get our 2 dashes back and then head toward victory. In this room, we can skip this lame wall bounce with a neutral jump into an upright dash to drop into this bubble, but after that, the room is basically like normal. The next room without spinner freeze gives us a new term for our glossary. After hitting this wall, we're just short of jumping to grab this wall, but you see, our feet aren't touching the top pixel, and we can actually do a neutral climb jump and then jump again when we make contact with the very top corner of the wall, and this is called a 5 jump. This 5 jump usually won't get us enough height to grab this wall, but with enough patience we can perfectly drop through the hole and grab the dash crystal. From here we can dash up to grab the wall, and then wait until the crystal respawns and drop down. When you pass these spinners, veer to the right a bit and gear up for an actual corner jump. My friends, this is where we get to meet a great adversary for the challenge, the corner. You see, corners can be jumped off of if you jump just right, and often given us the distance and height we may need. It's a bit hard to tell where the corner is thanks to the similarities in the wall color, but pause buffering the jump seems to help a lot. After dashing up this wall, climb up and jump and dash around these spinners to finally reach the last bubble of the room. Now that the level has taught us how to corner jump, we have many more to do to skip many more lame wall bounces. When doing this corner jump, make sure to hold climb and right so you can keep heading right after the corner jump. After using this corner to get over here, dash into this bubble and get into this wall. From here we can do a jump from this wall to get to this corner to get up to this bubble. From there, the room is basically like normal, aside from repeating this corner jump to get into this bubble again. In this room, we skip this wall bounce by immediately heading towards this touch switch. We may only have one dash, but using an upright one here, we can jump off the corner of this wall. Say hello to the sister of the corner jump, the corner kick. A corner kick is a wall jump performed on the corner of a wall. The underside corner, that is. When you touch the corner, you'll be realigned with the wall and you can then jump off said wall. Usually this set up with a up diagonal dash, but can work in many situations. This corner kick is a bit different though, because the wall jump of the corner kick needs to be a neutral jump. So we can head back towards the wall, meaning when you do the wall jump, please all directions, and you'll get a corner kick neutral jump. After doing the corner kick neutral jump, head back to the wall just like a normal neutral jump and climb up the wall. From there, jump to the other side of the room and hopefully drop through the hole in these spinners. From there, the rest of the room is pretty easy. Another room, yet another term added to our glossary. In this room, the level wants us to get distance from lame wall bounces, but obviously that is not going to work for us. We need to get into this bubble with 2 dashes. A super dash could easily get us there, but we can't do that. So instead, it's time to learn about the Hyper Bunny Hop. The Hyper Bunny Hop is a short hyper followed by a full height jump. It does take some free real estate to set it up, but your reward is a jump that gives the distance and speed of a hyper with the height of a normal jump. And even though I sense many people are trying to typing in the comments, let me explain why I'm allowing this. In the intermediate lobby, the hyper was meant to launch you over whatever hazard was below us, usually giving us lots of distance with minimal height. In a Hyper Bunny Hop, the hyper ends before it can actually reach any kind of hazards, because we've shortened it. The hyper also isn't a move we are going to be using to cross this gap. The move we are using is instead the jump, or the bunny hop in this case, that got boosted thanks to the speed of our hyper. Also, hyper dashes aren't necessarily usually meant for height, but when this move gets taught to us in the advanced lobby of Celeste Strawberry Jam, we can see that it's a big use of the Hyper Bunny Hop. Hopefully, I've explained myself enough to have not everyone strangle me in the comments. Except for Jerry. Maybe Jerry.
That's right, Jerry. I got my eye on you. Bitch.
With a Hyper Bunny Hop, we can get ourselves into this bubble, but this won't work as an average Hyper Bunny Hop. First, perform a short hyper at the end of the screen. Make sure to hold jump for a very short amount of time. Once you start to near the landing on the tiny little platform right here, start to hold left. Once you land, immediately transfer to holding right and slide off the ground and onto this lower platform. From here, simply jump, but not too high, and you'll rocket towards the bubble. Anyway, after getting up into this bubble, we can dash and veer right perfectly to jump onto this corner. After that, getting the touch switch and getting back to this wall is pretty easy, and then we're one more climb corner jump away from the end of the room. The next room has one corner jump, but is otherwise pretty easy. The last room tests both our movement skills and our puzzle solving skills. It starts with a wall jump into a corner jump, and then we go and grab this touch switch via a bubble. After grabbing this touch switch, get back up to this wall. We need 2 dashes, but getting 2 dashes here isn't exactly straightforward because the second bubble disappears. Instead, come at this with your thinking cap on and go down with the first bubble and then up with the second. Fall and dash through the hole and the dash crystal to the bubble, and after bubbling right, the bubble will respawn just in time to make a path back to the wall. Once we get to this wall, we have 2 more corner jumps to land, and before we can head back to the switch gate and the end of the level to finally, after almost 5 days, grab our 3rd heart.
thanks to 5th Dimension's wall bounce hell, I'm going to need a long nap. Hopefully space is good enough place to do so, because the next level we will face is low-G Botany. Did I seriously write that into the script without even noticing? Damn, I am a poet and I did not know it. Low-G Botany is a low-gravity space haven full of pink clouds and moon blocks. And the level starts off easy, but quickly dissolves into the training gym for the Reverse Tech. Reverse Tech can be super versatile, being a great replacement for super dashes, hyper dashes, and wave dashes. I've already explained super dashes, hyper dashes, and wave dashes, but obviously those aren't allowed for this challenge. With that, let me introduce you to Reverse Tech. To put it bluntly, let's pretend we are about to do a super dash.
We dash forward and jump at the end of said dash
to get the height. But if we're going to dash forward and then hold the opposite direction before implementing the jump of the super dash instead be propelled the other way. This is known as Reverse Tech, and is completely allowed, as not only is it a different move from regular dashes,
like hyper dashes, super dashes, and wave dashes,
but we're also never intended to do Reverse Tech in the intermediate lobby. And this works for super dashes, hyper dashes, and wave dashes, being a greatly versatile. Head down to this platform to do a reverse wave dash into an upward dash. And jump into the other side and do this a few more times. And the room will be over. The next room makes us do 3 reverse hyper dashes, but the room following that is a bit harder. First we need to do a reverse extended hyper dash on this pink cloud. We then need to do a dash up and right to grab the wall. After that, wall jump to the other side and use the spring to propel yourself. After a few more dashes, the room will be over, but don't forget about the berry. In order to collect it, we're going to need to pick up the double dash crystal from the next room over. The intended way to do such is to do a very tight wall bounce onto this wall, but that's totally lame. Instead, we'll take it slow and steady, and just do a normal wall jump off on the wall and dash up and grab the wall. From there, we should be able to pick up the double dash crystal and grab this berry. The rest of the next room needs us to do a reverse wave dash and to cross a gap, but after that, the room becomes pretty calm. Here we see our first implement of a crouch jump, which is just a jump performed while ducking. We may explain more about this crouch jump later, but for now, low-G Botany continues. To grab the second berry, make sure you reverse wave dash as low as possible, still getting a lot of distance, but making sure not to hit the spinners above. But after that, the level is
easy to sight read, which gives us our 4th heart.
Is anyone else hungry for something other than strawberries? Well, thankfully, the next level is a literal sea of soup. This level may look hard given it doesn't give our dash back when touching the ground, but thankfully there's one key detail that makes this level way easier. Yeah, that's not a super. When put against the Tech Announcer mod, the Tech Announcer does not declare this as a super. I believe this oddity is actually because we're delaying the jump, but we are still getting the boost thanks to a bubble booster we came out of. It may not be as much as a boost as we get from a regular super, but it's still a boost which helps us tremendously. Using this knowledge, without the ability of Fast Bubble, this is going to be a long journey, but certainly a possible one.
The real challenge, though, is going to be getting the berries.
The first berry is just the normal path, but berry 2 puts us in a room that seems like it's begging us to do a wall bounce. As we know, wall bouncing is totally lame, so we won't be doing that. When jumping off this upward moving wall, start heading for the far left corner above this lava pool. After corner jumping off this corner, we can take up as much distance as possible and upright dash and jump when we hit the corner of this wall to perform a corner kick that lets us jump off the wall. After that, quickly head back to the wall and grab it. From there, the berry is 1 dash away. For our second to last berry, it's a bit tricky, but way easier than the second. Usually we would need a wall bounce to get into the room that the berry is in, but we could skip this wall bounce with 2 dashes. Given this information, the tricky part of getting this berry isn't actually the berry room itself, rather it's getting into the berry room in the first place. One delayed super that's actually not a super isn't enough to get us enough distance to reach this second bubble, meaning we're going to need to think outside the box. Use the bubble to get up to this wall and grab it. From there, grab jump your way to the highest point and propel yourself into the second bubble with a wall jump. After that, a perfect delayed super that isn't actually a super will barely let you fall into this hole. From there, use the purple bubble to go to the blue bubble and bubble out to the right, and you'll be able to fall into this other bubble. From there, keep using those delayed supers that aren't actually supers, and you'll be able to skip this dread wall bounce and grab the berry. For our final berry, there's a little quirk in Celeste that lets us get it. The intended way to do this berry is wall bounce off these lava walls, as wall jumps have a 2 pixel leniency as long as you're holding climb, and lava is legally a wall somehow. But the first 2 wall bounces can be skipped with 2 upward dashes, but then we're kinda out of dashes, so we'll need to do a wall jump off the lava instead of a wall bounce that lets us nab the other berry. A few more delayed supers that aren't actually supers, and we're able to nab the 5th heart, and with our 5th heart collected, we can head right back into the level
For our final berry. Yes, Sea of Soup is possible dashless and without intermediate tech. I'm a dirty little liar, and my pants are on fire for some reason.
Without dashes, this means we'll have to implement a lot more corner jumps, but since the spike placement in this level is very forgiving, it isn't anything I should have to go through. What I do have to explain, though, is why I'm actually allowing one type of hyper in this challenge. In this final screen, there's a pretty big gap that can't be cleared with a delayed super that's not actually super, and we're not in a good position to set up anything with huge potential. There is one thing we can do, though. If you go up in the bubble and then land on the platform and walk off into the bubble, you actually still have time to input a jump while we're in the bubble because of a lenience mechanic called coyote frames. When you walk off a platform or even dash off a platform, you're given 5 frames where you can still jump. These frames are called coyote frames, and with this jump, we're able to perform hypers inside of bubbles. Now with this trick, the room is pretty trivial since it doesn't take a dash to do, but why am I allowing this if it's technically still a hyper? Well, my question to you is, why does this library of Celeste Strawberry Jam mark this as Grandmaster Tech? Look, if you think this isn't allowed, then we can just miss this berry for the run, but this is clearly marked as Grandmaster Tech in the Coyote Frames section of the Celeste Strawberry Jam library. So I feel like it's completely allowed, especially here as we're doing the hyper in the opposite direction than when we walked it. So it feels more like a reverse hyper, even if it's technically not. But after that last rules discrepancy, we can finally move on to the yellows of the intermediate lobby.
But before heading into the yellows, I suggest going back into the lobby and climbing up this wall with chain neutral jumps in order to meet this cat named Mr. Whiskers.
Hello.
Now heading into the yellows, Vertigo may be our first step into the yellow lids, but it's easily the hardest of the yellow lids. You see, this level is built around gravity switch fields, and the level has a focus on wall bounces. Immediately, this level starts off with a reverse wave dash into an upright dash into a neutral corner kick. The rest of this room is quite easy, but the next room is where things get a bit crazy. You see, there's a room where, coming up, we're going to need to avoid a wall bounce, and it's just not happening inside the room. Luckily, in this completely possible room, there's a way to skip past that other room. First, get over to this wall. Now, we are upside down but above a wall of spinners from a different angle. So what are we doing here? Well, let's look at these spinners' hitboxes. When we examine the hitboxes, we can realize that this isn't really a wall, rather individual balls of spike which each have a gap in between them. Each gap is about 4 pixels tall. Coincidentally, Madeline's, or in anyone who's mega cool cases, Glaceon's hitbox, whenever they crouch, is exactly 4 pixels tall. This begs the question, though, how are we going to get this gap? Well, when you dash, you have 4 frames to redirect said dash. If you dash downward, our player is put into a crouch state. So if we start our dash going down and then redirect it to another direction, we can stay in this crouch state for any direction of dash. This is called a demo dash, and we can use a rightward one to fit through this tiny gap between the spinners. Luckily, the Demo Dash is also able to be bound to a single button in the Options menu, allowing this trick to be replicated very easily. After making the Demo Dash, you'll be able to die, but not before getting teleported into a later room in the level. This is because in this map, auto respawns are turned on, and this room that comes after the unskippable wall bounce is coincidentally right next to the completely possible room. This trick is called a death warp, and will be used later. Once we respawn, we'll be in this room. After reverse wave dashing to this platform and climbing up this wall, don't forget that climb jumps have a 2 pixel leniency because after doing that 5 jump, you're going to need that 2 pixel leniency. If you did it right, you'll be barely able to reach the dash crystal and be able to dash over this wall. From here, you need to do an upside down 5 jump into a corner kick neutral jump upside down. Then, once you get to this wall, one more 5 jump and corner kick neutral jump can get us to the end of the room. Now the next room is very hard and will take some explaining. You see, this room is usually supposed to be tackled easily with a wall bounce, but without it, there's almost no way we're getting to this dash crystal, and remember, wall bounces are f***ing lame. But almost is just enough for us. Start the room with a Hyper Bunny Hop. For the second jump of the Hyper Bunny Hop, you want to be slightly in front of the watchtower. Next, you need to do an upright Demo Dash into a corner kick. I recommend this be a Demo Dash as it makes the corner kick line up with the bottom corner of this wall much better. But this isn't just any regular corner kick. Instead, we need to pull off a reverse corner boost. Now that might have sounded like a whole bunch of gibberish, but hear me out, let me cook. When we approach this corner of the wall with some speed and buffer a climb jump, we get an extra speed boost of 40. This is called a corner boost and can be performed on the top corners of walls. But here we're working for the bottom corner of a wall, so we need to actually flip it and reverse the corner boost. To do so, when performing the corner kick, hold grab and right, and you'll be boosted to the left. Ideally, you want to hold right for the shortest amount of time, and if you have enough speed, you'll reach the dash crystal and be able to complete the rest of the room. Thankfully, the level calms down a bit after that. The second to last room does require another perfect jump with a 2 pixel leniency 5 jump, and after that, if we managed our height perfectly, we will just barely have enough time to buffer a climb jump on this wall, and then after a few more 5 jumps, we can get into the heart room and nab the heart for a Vertigo for mission completely possible.
On the other hand, the rest of the yellows are surprisingly super easy, so let's do a lightning round run for the rest of them. Eat Girl is a race against Battle-In that has literally no tech. Run from Battle-In and nab 2 berries plus your 7th heart with ease. Honeyzip Inc is going to require us to be a very busy bee though. A lot of the level heightens our skill with reverse tech, especially doing such out of bow boosters. This zipline drop is kind of scary, but throw yourself off right and we can safely grab the pink dash crystal and dash back up to it. And the dash into the zipline followed by a jump doesn't count as a super. After that room, we get dropped into the main part of the level, which is where we need to collect many keys in order to progress.
I went for the upper left room first, which is a piece of cake, but the room below can eat a worm.
After doing a zipline super, that's not actually a super, we'll need to land on this mechanism block and immediately do a short reverse extended hyper. You'll need to do upright diagonal dash to reach the red bubble in a yellow disguise. Use the bubble and go up into the right, and then dash up out of it to grab the zipline. Throw yourself off the zip line, but make sure not to hit these yellow spinners. Fall into the yellow bubble, then dash up and grab this onto this touch switch wall. Jump off the wall to grab the zip line, then jump to grab the touch switch, head off to the left and jump and dash left off the zip line to grab the mechanism. From there, the path to the key is easy, but getting there was very annoying. Otherwise, nabbing the heart and the level's 3 berries is very easy. Infiltration is in the intermediate lobby thanks to its high-speed special security drones and completely complicated puzzle-solving mechanics, rather than the actual tech within the level, so nabbing the heart and the 5 berries within the level is just like a normal playthrough.
Now, I know that I said that the rest of the yellows are very easy, but Supernautica is a huge outlier that we need to address. In this first room, a reverse super from the ground doesn't quite reach the jellyfish. Instead, we need to use a bit of the air that we have to the right of the little platform to do a reverse super from midair. The next room wants us to head up by doing a holdable lift, but why do that when we can instead implement the best type of movement tech in Celeste, the Ultra Dash. An Ultra Dash is a down-diagonal dash performed while moving at a high speed that ends before landing on the ground. You will retain the speed of the dash when you land, but upon landing, your speed will be multiplied by 1.2.
This is known as an Ultra Dash, or for anyone who doesn't like to get technical, a thing that makes you go noom.
Now back in Supernautica, in this room,
first do a reverse wave dash off this platform, and then dash diagonally down towards this platform. You'll know if you did it right if your dash is much longer than usual. When you reach the ground, it's important to slide on the ground for at least a few frames before jumping to get a very far jump. Using upright dash after that, we can barely make it to this platform. From here, demo through the spinners and do a reverse super on the crumble platform. Now that you know how to demo dash, in the next room, it's time to pull off a super mega hard demo dash. It starts by performing a reverse midair super on this crumble platform and then dashing up to grab this jellyfish. From there, head a little to the right and throw it to the left. When you are in front of the jellyfish, wall whirl. Wait a few seconds on this platform, and wait until you see the jellyfish coming towards you. After that, do a reverse super to grab the jellyfish. If you do it right, you'll be boosted upward, and you'll be in the perfect position to dash through these two spinners.
Luckily, even if the demo dash is super hard, the creator congratulates us for even getting here. How nice!
After that, reverse midair supers can get us through most of the level, even letting us get the 2 berries of the map. That is until the last room. Throughout the level, the time is becoming more and more of a problem, as jellyfish become faster and faster going through these pipes, and setting up reverse supers in time is becoming harder and harder. In this final room, though, the time becomes a very huge problem. Luckily, we have one more trick up our sleeves.
In 5th dimension, we learned a technique called the Hyper Bunny Hop.
A move that gives us the distance of a hyper with the height of a super. We may not need the distance, but the height is greatly appreciated. That's not to say that this is exactly an easy place to do this move in, as the crumble platforms we need to perform the move on are 6 tiles wide. It is possible to perform a hyper bunny hop on these platforms, but the hyper must be the shortest hyper known to man. Each super in this room must be replaced with a hyper bunny hop, and each jelly regrab must be replaced with a very cramped jelly baiter. The room may only feature advanced lobby techniques, but that doesn't mean this room isn't mega precise. But do it right and you'll make it to the room containing the heart, where one reverse midair super can easily reach it. Now that that's over, let's speed through the rest of the yellows. The tower requires us to become a master of neutral jumps to skip all the incredibly and totally lame tech. For the first room, you will need a perfect wall jump to grab the ice platform. Make sure you're holding climb when doing this jump, and remember, there's a 2 pixel leniency for climb jumps, where the jump still counts 2 pixels away from the wall. Even if we're jumping on an ice wall, which usually prevents us from climbing, the game still gives us 2 pixel leniency, and you're going to need that 2 pixel leniency, as this jump is literally the furthest and highest jump possible. And for Madeline, or in anyone's cool case, Glaceon. From there, neutral jumps can get us through the rest of the room and through a lot of the level, and let us grab 3 more berries. It's possible to climb up these ice walls without crumbling them and by climb jumping up them super fast. Last room requires another perfect wall jump, installing with neutral jumps to let dash crystals respawn, but if you manage your time well, we can barely beat the ice wall that's closing in to let us nab another heart. Construction Conundrum is the last yellow in the intermediate lobby to face, and it's pretty easy. Theo's caught himself in a construction conundrum, and it's up to us to get him out of the second conundrum. Doing so is quite easy, as most of the level has no tech except for the second berry room. The first berry room has no tech, but the second berry room requires a mastery of the reverse wave dash. Other than that, we can complete the last yellow with 2 or more berries in our pocket.
And now, for the sick commercial break that everyone should stay for, the Mini-Skits!
As you can see, guys, triangles are awesome. Man, I have no idea how to connect with my students. As you can see, guys, triangles are fucking awesome.
Wait, Professor, you like to swear? Yo, you're sick, man. I think I might actually start listening to your lectures now.
For real, man? Thanks, dude.
You want to come to my frat party on Saturday?
Yeah, that sounds sick.
Cool.
After this moment, they became the sickest duo at any party.
Son, I'm home with groceries.
Oh, nice. Let's see, we got some Pringles, nice. We got, what else we got here? We got, oh, Capri Suns, nice. What else we got here? We got, ooh, some bananas. Oh.
What is it, son?
The bananas. They don't have minions on them.
Son, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
No, Dad, this is not okay. This is never okay, all right? I like bananas because they have minions on them, all right? Minions, they're cute. They're adorable. If minions weren't on bananas, bananas would suck. Don't you understand that, you incompetent bitch?
Sup? What's that?
Oh, this is my tactical box cutter.
Tactical what?
You know, a box cutter. It's got like a scope to view your cuts from far away. It's got a laser to plan out your cuts.
Why would you need that?
It's actually really nice. And if I cut enough boxes, a police helicopter comes.
Oh shit, really?
Officer, we have eyes on the suspect.
Oh fuck!
Alright, now back to the video.
With all the yellows done, it's time to move on to the reds, which contain some of the hardest gameplay of the challenge. First up is Square the Circle. This level starts off easy enough with a few momentum-based Kevin puzzles, and for the record, these blocks with lion faces that make the silly roar noises are called Kevins. Don't ask why. Without the ability to fast bubble, we'll have to make some careful movements. But here, instead of using the jump button to exit this bubble, instead dash up, because for some reason, no matter what direction you hold, even if you hold left in this bubble, which would usually activate a reverse super, this bubble is really weird, and a regular super will be performed no matter what direction you're holding. This is a very easy mistake to make, so please don't fall for it. For the first barrier of this level, there's this very easy Kevin puzzle, which usually ends with a wall bounce, but can be easily thwarted by a simple up dash and stalling to make sure that the wall jump you perform is not a wall bounce, but just a simple wall jump. Soon we'll reach this room. The only exit is this bubble, which would launch us into a forced wall bounce if we want to hit this touch switch.
Without hitting the touch switch, the wall bounce seems absolutely necessary because we need a crouch dash to get through here. This may be a problem, but why face a problem on an empty stomach? Do a corner jump into an upward dash to grab this wall from there. If you perfectly manage your height and distance, you'll be able to barely make it to the berry room up top. This is also where we use the strategy for a 5 jump for an actual 5 jump to get the most distance before dashing up. We can use this technique to get over the Kevin and then dash up to nab the very last pixel of this wall. From there we can neutral jump up the wall and then get into this berry room.
The The berry room wants us to use delayed block boost wall bounces by using the Kevin and the bubble to be pushed up into the wall to do a wall bounce. However, delayed block boosts are just a lately applied block boost. Said block boost gets applied to many types of wall bounces. All that it needs to be is within 9 frames of when the block should initially boost you. This means that we can dash down into the Kevin from the edge, and we can walk over to a line with this wall while the Kevin is moving up, jump, and then when the Kevin stops, do a neutral jump on the wall above to barely have enough height to do an upright dash over the electricity. From there, do it one more time, and then the berry is basically...
Unfortunately, once we get back down to the room below, we're kind of forced into doing a bubble wall bounce, as even if we perfect upright dash over the platform from the red bubble, and you demo dash into the bubble so you can be placed 2 pixels upward in the bubble, you're still 0.69 pixels away from grabbing the second key, and since we don't have a dash, it's not like we can just demo dash through these spikes down here. But I also accidentally pressed the tilde key in this level and realized something about the electricity. It's colored the same way as the spinners, looking like it's also split into 3 groups: red, blue, and yellow. I also asked around the Mount Climbing Discord Association, and apparently the lightning can also be frozen. You just need to look all the way up in these binoculars and then leave it for another borderline 5 days. Now, why do we need to look up in these binoculars? Remember, the default for spinners is to start as uncollidable, meaning they start off. On the contrary, the default for lightning is to start as on and collidable. By looking up into the binoculars, we actually are changing what's on screen, and therefore we can turn off nearby lightning and effectively have it turn off after waiting another 115.7 hours. This is where I should explain how to perform freezes in Celeste, because while yes, I've told you how to do them in this game, how they work, I really don't recommend just leaving your game on for 5 solid days in a row. I mean, this is where I should mention that the game does have an in-game debug console where you can activate the spinner or lightning freeze immediately. The command is set level.timeactive 524288. And this is probably the better option than just leaving your laptop on for 5 days. But what if you're stupid, crazy, and a very purist idiot that doesn't like using the debug menu because they think it's lame? Well, with that mindset, you still shouldn't leave your laptop on for 5 solid days. I mean, that could easily damage your computer by burning in images. If you're on a home computer, it's as easy as turning off your monitor before leaving to prevent burning images, so just those images do not burn in. But if you're doing this challenge on a Windows laptop like I was, this is going to be a little bit less straightforward. First, head into the control panel and go to power options. Next, go to choose what closing the lid does, click on these little drop down messages, and change them all to do nothing. Notice that now when you close the laptop, the screen will turn off at a certain angle, but the actual laptop will never turn off, allowing you to keep your laptop on and have no worries about burnt image ever in existence. Now, after the lightning is frozen, be very careful, as only 1/3 of the lightning, as opposed to 2/3 of spinners, is uncollidable, and if you die, you have to wait another 5 days. After exiting the bino, carefully dash right twice and you'll die a horrible death. Yep, that's right, because there's more setups to this. Because apparently, the top and bottom screen just got a divorce and now have joint custody with this pesky patch of lightning. By that, I mean that both the bottom and top screen have a loading zone for this lightning. This means that if we were to transition into the top room from the bottom room, then wait 115.7 hours, the lightning wouldn't turn off because the loading zone for the lightning with the screen below is still in motion and would load the lightning as on. This means before starting the freeze, we actually need to save and quit and reload into the berry room so that the bottom screen's loading zone for this lightning never loads. Now, if we wait another 115.7 hours and then exit out of the binoculars and then dash right twice, you'll transition into the room below, and because you're far enough to the right, even though you will die, you'll respawn at the second part of the room, skipping the problem spot entirely with another death warp. And immediately after the almost 5-day wait, to make things worse, the immediate next screen is usually thwarted by a gigantic wall bounce that we need to somehow avoid. The best we have to work with is this giant Kevin block, which could help thanks to our friend Momentum. You see, in the expert gym of Celeste Strawberry Jam, we're taught a technique called multi-boosting. Every time you jump off a moving block, its speed is added to yours. This means that if we keep jumping on a moving block, we can build up a ton of speed. Here, I recommend going into the extended variance menu, and in the visuals section, turning on display speedometer to both horizontal and vertical speed. This will allow you to see your current speed at all times, which is very important as your current speed can be a good marker for certain setups. Going back to the first room at hand, first jump up and then dash to the Kevin. Don't climb up too high though, because we are going to be doing a few extra moves in order to reach this bubble in a timely manner. When the right edge of the Kevin block lines up with the edge of this building in the background, let go of the Kevin, which will give you 150 speed. After that, immediately perform a neutral climb jump, which will bring you up to 289 speed. Next, when we get 2 pixels away from the wall, or this Kevin block here, and we have that 2 pixel wall jump leniency, we can actually still input a second neutral climb jump, which brings you all the way up to 428 speed, which rockets you all the way to the bubble. Now that we're in the bubble, congratulations, you're halfway done! We still got a whole bunch of momentum puzzling to do, and here we go up in the bubble. And wait for Glaceon's sprite to line up with the top of the Kevin block. Once you're lined up, dash up and to the right, and this dash won't last long, so don't hold the directions for a tiny tap to the left, not lasting much longer than a single frame. Turning it to the left then also allows us to do a neutral climb jump, bringing us up all the way to 409 speed. Then you can perform another neutral climb jump when you're 2 pixels away, just like last time, and that will bring you all the way up to 598 speed, which is just barely enough to snag the bottom edge of this wall. Although we will need a bit of a push from holding right, but you need to make sure you wait 11 frames after the neutral climb jump to hold right. If you're too early, you'll perform a wall boost and your momentum will be cancelled. If you wait just long enough though and start holding right, you can just barely have enough distance to reach the bottom edge of the wall. After that momentum puzzler, we still got an entire level ahead of us. To get around this electricity, after grabbing onto the edge of this purple Kevin, we'll need a very specific wall jump paired with a upright dash over the lightning, but as long as you space it out well, it isn't too hard to land. Immediately after that, though, we have another momentum lift boost puzzle to solve. After dashing up left out of this bubble to hit the Kevin, we need to wait a little bit until you're in front of this one-way wall here. You want to perform a left climb jump, bringing your speed to 163. Then, the one-way platform will give us a crouch state, and if you continue to climb jump, you can preserve this crouch state. After performing the left climb jump, we then need to perform a neutral climb jump, which will bring our speed all the way up to 323, and then we need to perform another neutral climb jump, bringing our speed up to 497, which rockets us into the bubble. Since we've reached the bubble in a crouched state, the bubble will be moved 2 pixels up, and this is exactly what we want, as we're going to need a little extra height, as without it, we're going to be too fast in order to get over the electricity. Now, we need to go up left in the bubble, and once we're outside the bubble, we need to perform 2 left climb jumps, which will bring us to a speed of 216 and then 332. Then lastly, we can perform 1 more neutral climb jump, bringing our speed all the way up to 563, which launches us all the way over to the other side of the lightning, not even needing an upright dash to get over the electricity, although we will need it to get into this barrier room. If you miss it though, you can get back to it. It's just not very much a cakewalk. It involves first transitioning over into the next room and then demo dashing up left out of it to then line up for a corner kick neutral jump when you transition back to the other screen, and then to the left when climbing up, jumping off the wall and performing another corner kick neutral jump to get into the berry room. Luckily, getting this berry is basically free though. The next room introduces some reverse tech. Here, to replace this regular bubble wave dash, instead go down in the bubble and then dash back up to climb onto the top of this platform. Then do a short hop on to the left and then perform a reverse wave dash and then dash up into this red bubble. The rest of the room then is very free, but it does require a few reverse mid-air supers. For the second half of the room after the checkpoint, whenever we hit a bubble on these Kevin blocks, it's as easy as performing a short reverse hyper or wave dash. The room then ends with a Kevin boosted reverse extended super dash that is a little bit hard to land, but nothing we haven't seen before. With the next room, there's a hidden berry room behind this purple Kevin that we need to move it up in order to get to the red bubble and then get into the berry room. The berry room itself is our fourth free berry of the level, although make sure to climb up this Kevin and dash down into it before heading up with the bubbles to reach the Kevins, so you can just use them to jump up to the top Kevin and then wall jump up and dash over. Back in the regular room though, the first purple Kevin is thwarted by a simple bubble reverse hyper, and then after dashing left into this purple Kevin, we first go up left into the bubble, and then we line up with the top of the Kevin. We perform a left climb jump followed by a neutral climb jump, and then a left climb jump to fling into the bubble. Usually I would say the different speeds, but this is much easier and more lenient than the two setups before, and that way the speed doesn't really matter too much. Then, aside from a tight reverse extended super, the room is basically over. The next room is very easy, just replacing wall bounces and regular wall jumps, and replacing regular wave dashes and super dashes with a reverse. And after that room, make sure to remember to dash down here to open up this berry room, as it's very easy to miss, unfortunately. The berry room itself is unfortunately dashless, which means it is not a free berry, unlike the last four, which means we need to perform a very tight reverse hyper on the end of this platform with the bubble, and then we need to perform a really tight reverse bubble hyper bunny hop off of this upper moving Kevin with a low bunny hop to not hit the upper lightning above. You then need to grab the side of this Kevin and do a 5 jump setup to get the wall jump, and that just barely reaches the platform with the berry. The room following that is more of the same, but just us performing the reverse supers with the bubbles, and we have to perform them ourselves by going first in the intended direction and then dashing out of the bubbles to cancel them and doing the reverse super. For the second half of the room though, after the checkpoint, after dashing left into this purple Kevin, we need to perform a reverse wave dash bunny hop out of the bubble and with a low bunny hop to make sure we don't hit the electricity again. We need the bunny hop for the extra speed, so we can actually just barely beat the purple Kevin with an upward dash to then walk right on top of the Kevin, this bubble, and perform a reverse wave dash out of it. This will be tight if you just sit on the Kevin, and you will not have enough time to perform the reverse hyper if you just sit on the Kevin, so you need to advance yourself to the bubble by walking right on top of the Kevin. From there, you're just one reverse bubble wave dash away from the checkpoint. And the final room is going to be a lot of the same, which means replacing regular wave dashes, hypers, and supers with the reverse, and replacing wall bounces with wall jumps. But otherwise, it's nothing compared to what came before, which means we can bubble into this heart and finish the level, adding 5 more berries to our total. Next up, we head into the claustrophobic caverns of Deep Blue for a calmer level. The first room is quite easy, with the room afterwards requiring some schematics to get around this whole lift. You see, technically, since we're not throwing the jellyfish at the wall, but instead we're throwing it at a spring, this allows us to grab the berry. The end of this room has another holdable lift where we'll need to avoid. But this one is much easier to dismiss with a jelly vader or an upwards dash after preserving as much height as possible. Despite the rest of the level being full of jellyfish shenanigans, the rest of the level is pretty much like normal, letting us nab the heart and 3 berries to our total. After the easier time we had in Deep Blue, it's time for another hard level, Temple of 1,000 Skies. This level makes us become
super dash. Most of the time, level will have us set up to do wave dashes and super dashes out of bubbles. We can avoid these bubble wave dashes and supers by always going up diagonal in these bubbles and then doing the reverse wave dash ourselves. And then we get introduced to the levels will most of the time be thwarted by change neutral jumps. When the level splits into 4 paths, I opted to go for the upper right path first. The second room of this path gives us a bit of as we need more distance than just a regular wall jump. But ever so coincidentally, there's a small platform we can jump up next to this slight spiked wall, letting us do a jump into an upright dash. And the path below also features a very manageable first room. Just don't forget to grab it on your way out. The second room is to create a cramped environment. Said cramped environment prevents us from using our usual strategy of an up diagonal bubble strategy. For the first two, we can replicate this strategy, but the third, go in the bubble and then do a reverse extended hyper as soon as you land on the crumble platform. A 3-tile long platform is barely enough to do an extended hyper, so despite it being ludicrously precise, we can just barely pull it out. For the fourth bubble, we learned another use of the demo dash. First go left in the bubble, then fall for a slight second, only to demo dash to the right, and jump left when you hit the crumble platform. Doing so will give us a reverse extended hyper to the left, allowing us to dash up and grab the zipper. The fifth and final bubble can be thwarted by our usual strategy, allowing us to finish this path. The first two paths seem to be blocked by a wall bounce, but neutral jumping up this wall leads to a corner just waiting to be jumped on, letting us pass through the wall bounce barrier. The bottom left path requires extended reverse hyper, but otherwise the first room is very manageable. The second room requires 2 reverse midair supers after exiting some bubbles, but otherwise presents us with nothing new. The upper path begins with a double reverse wave dash. After a few more reverse wave dashes, we can make it to this room, where there's another small floor by these spinners, helping us thwart this room. With all 4 touch switches collected, we can safely exit the Temple of a Thousand Skies with 4 more berries added to our total.
Our next level to tackle is Midnight Monsoon. In the level, our dash does not refill when touching the ground, which is always an annoyance, but will it be the death of the run? Already there's a required Theovator very early on. A Theovator is the same inputs as a Jellyvator, but faster because this time, we have a rock.
I got a rock.
Next, to skip this jellyfish regrab, we need to grab the jellyfish and float down. When you are aligned with this plant, throw the jellyfish and demo dash through these spinners. Collect this jump crystal afterwards and jump to the platform to where we can jump and re-grab the jellyfish to throw it at a touch switch. The next room may be just like normal with a few Vaders added, but the room after poses a big problem. You see, the intended route for this room involves a wall bounce to get over these spikes. Getting a launch boost from a pufferfish by holding away from it seems like a good idea, but that's disabled in this level.
While there are a few corners we can use to perform corner jumps, nothing can get us to this jump crystal, meaning that we're put into a pit of spinners.
With no other options left to us, it's time to call over our old friend, Spinner Freeze. And now that we've done Spinner Freeze a few times, I'd like to share some of my recommendations on what to do during this ungodly amount of waiting first. First, there's something cool that you can do with the Steam version of Celeste equipped with Everest. You see, if Celeste is running, you can easily open another game and play said game while you wait for Spinner Freeze. You could, I don't know, what do you kids do these days? Take a few dubs on Fortnite? Play a few rounds of Call of Duty? Oh god, I feel like I sound so skibbity. Okay, well, yes, that's great, but what if your Steam library sucks and doesn't have any good games other than Celeste? Well, I've also compiled a list of things that you can do in almost 5 days of waiting. You could go on a nice bike ride with this nice summer heat. You could take a stroll to the beach. There's also a numerous amount of shows you could binge watch in this time period. Some of my favorites, the entirety of Total Drama clocks at just under 62 hours. Regular show is just about 48 hours. Adventure Time is just under 53 hours of content. Recently, a new season of Survivor hit the scene, and I thought that was a great time. It could be binged very easily. Has-Been Hotel is a great watch so far, and it's easy to watch in a short amount of time with only 8 episodes currently out, although there is a new season coming out. And although I've fallen out of watching it, I hear its sister show, Haluva Boss, is very good, with only 2 short seasons under the belt, and it can't be too long for a binge watch. The Angry Video Game Nerd is also a great web show to binge watch if you're into those, with over 200 episodes to keep you busy.
Lastly, if you're going to binge watch my entire YouTube channel, it would take 36 hours, 43 minutes, and 50 seconds. You know what? No, we're not going to just gloss over this. There's no way we're just glossing over this, okay?
Literally calculated this entire thing.
And
yes, he is very stupid.
in order to calculate this with a time calculator, we are not just going to gloss over this,
explaining
you
a
piece
stupid
of
Disney
fucking
show.
But if you are wondering what to do with that 115 hours, may I present you with Labyrinths, a TV show masterpiece. Alright, now, what is the plot of Labyrinths? Yeah, the plot. You know, Mr. Davenport has built 3 bionic teenagers, and when his stepson finds them, antics ensue, you know what I mean, right? Yeah. Now, question. Who is Mr. Davenport? Well, man. Okay. Is it hot in here? Is it just me? I mean, look at this man. He's got perfect hair. He's got a perfect eyes. He's got a perfect mouth. He's got perfectly round-shaped, chiseled chin. He's got a great face. And broad shoulders. I'm not crazy, you are. But he's not the only highlight. He's not the only highlight. Adam, Bree, and Chase are some of the greatest performances seen in a TV show. Especially Adam, who I'm pretty sure is just head empty, no thought, maybe just a little chaotic little kitten with a joystick in there. And then Douglas has a very engaging character arc. And real talk, this PowerPoint might seem like a huge joke, but for this next one, I am pretty serious. The voice of fucking Naruto is in this as Principal Perry, and she is astounding. So yeah, another reason to go watch Lab Rats. A very catchy theme song that lives in my brain's basement. We also have some incredible reviews. We got some incredible reviews here. As you can see from this chart here, there's 30.5% of the reviews, meaning 2.4k views, or reviews, are 10 out of 10 stars, which might not seem like that much, but as you can see from this graph, it is 10 stars. Most viewers give it 10 stars, as you can see, and it's by a very long shot. The next highest is actually 8 stars, 7 stars, which gives us more of our, 7 out of 10 is still a pretty good rating as well. But we have some great reviews quoted from people like Pseudo Sanity 97735, who says 8 out of 10, the best live action show currently airing on Disney Channel. Lab Rats is a pretty great show, especially coming from the live action department of Disney. And then we also have from Me Bandlins, one of the best shows of all time. From KDO Tatsuria, Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. 10 out of 10. Awesome. And then from Golden Compass 1999. 10 out of 10. I love this show. And Bob was awesome. In all caps and 3 E's. Guys, I think I've gone crazy. You guys want something to do in that 115 hours? Oh, gosh. I'll give you something to do in that 115 hours. Welcome to Balatro. Balatro is the game that gives me a bunch of adrenaline. And it's big number game. Game have big number. Game multiply numbers with jokers, and it's basically poker, but if it was on crack. But so I've compiled a list of 20 or so jokers that give me straight adrenaline and hit me like caffeine, but like a truck of it. Alright, so the first one is the misprint joker. Now, some people might say this is random joker, so random joker be bad, and like randomness numbers all bad things, but like problem, like the random number and like the luck of the draw, the big money gives me the adrenaline. Like, oh man, it could be a plus 50,000 multiplier, or it could just be plus 0 multiplier, and it could be the end of the run. That's the adrenaline of misprint for me now. Next up is Mystic Summit, which adds 15 to your multiplier if all your discards are used, which my playstyle is get rid of all discards, because I actually get rid of all my discards pretty easily, because I search for my hands, don't really think about what cards I'm getting. I don't think about what cards I'm getting rid of, I don't think about that. No. So this card is the most helpful card ever for me. It gives me so much adrenaline when I'm out of discards, and it's boom, baby. Next up is Supernova. This is the joker that gives it adds to the multiplier how many times you played the hand. In this what do you call it? The entire, not round. It would more be just the entire playthrough, I guess. The run. It'd be the run. But frankly, it works with so many different runs, I guess. It's I as a Full House enthusiast myself, this is a very fun card, because I use the Full House so much that it just like keeps building up, and it's like a huge giant Lego tower. It's so much adrenaline. Next up is Egg, which gets which after each round gets $3 of sell value, and you can buy this card and then just keep building it up, and basically it's free money, which free money is, oh man, it's adrenaline worthy there. And then Flash card. Okay, so these next 3 cards are kind of, they're not the greatest on their own, but trust me, when you pair them together, that's what's going on here. Now, first up, you have Flash card, right? So this is the card. So for this card, it adds +2 to your multiplier for each re-roll you have done in this run. So if you re-roll in the shop, right, you get +2 multiplier, And if you reroll again, you get +4 multiplier. Reroll again, +6. You get what I mean, right? And basically, you can, if you have enough money, you can just kind of keep going on and get so much adrenaline because you keep building up. One time I actually built it up with 32, with like +32 multiplier actually. But how do you get that far is the real question. Well. May I present to you the credit card? Question: when is a credit card not giving you adrenaline? I mean, it's a fucking credit card. When is it not giving you adrenaline? I mean, I feel like I just looking at this thing, I feel like running around the entirety of Africa. I don't know, like just name a country. I don't know, Africa. Russia's pretty freaking big, so is Africa or Russia bigger? I think Russia's gotta be bigger than Africa, right? I feel like Russia's gotta be bigger than Africa, but but this is not the last card of this team up, Credit card gives you so much adrenaline, but the team up needs one more. Chaos the Clown. Yes. Chaos the Clown. He allows one free reroll per shop, which means you can get rerolls for free, which means you can get so much multiplier on the flashcard Joker, and just have so much multiplier and so much adrenaline because so many numbers, big number multiply to big score, and big number make Matthew go crazy. And then next up is Seltzer, which re-triggers your hands. This one's for the next like 10 rounds, which this is pretty nice. Getting to get an extra few added to your multiplier. It's pretty nice, I will say. It doesn't last forever, but it's when you do have it, that's kind of like the adrenaline. The fact that it doesn't last forever, it's like, oh man, it's coming soon. It's gonna be done soon. I gotta start planning ahead. And the adrenaline. Oh man, oh gosh. Next up, it's DNA. DN fucking A. Oh, I fucking love this card. Getting able to freaking copy any card I want. Having a billion aces in a deck, that is what gives me adrenaline. And there's some great stuff you can pair with this card. Okay? I'm talking incredible multipliers, alright? This is, like, you can get some incredible multipliers because you're doubling the cards, and you're getting so many cards, and then those cards are making big numbers, and I'm not crazy. I'm different. That's what my mother says. Alright, next up is Trading Card, which does the opposite of DNA, which is its sister card, and frankly, it's probably one of the greatest cards ever. Trading Card. So if you discard the card, if you discard one card at the start of your round, it permanently destroys the card, and it gives you $3. Which is a great way to earn money, but it's also great for deck building. And it's just like, ooh, I can just destroy the card at the stack of my hands. Oh man, that feels incredible. And I feel like I have so much power. I could go ride a horse and then eat 40 hot dogs. I feel incredible. Next up is Raised Fist, which adds to the multiplier double the it adds double the multiplier. Or not double the multiplier. So the lowest ranked card that you have in your hand, it doubles that, and then adds to your multiplier. So if you have a 4 in your card, or if you have a 4 in your hand, it'll add 8 to your multiplier, and that is crazy because then the adrenaline there is your strategy, right? You gotta strategize. Do I want to try to keep discarding to get a higher lowest card in my hand so I can get more multiplier, or do I want to just like play the hand now, or is it that big of a deal? Oh man. Okay. Next up, Gross Mitchell and Cavendish. This one gives you times 15 or plus 15 multiplier, but it's a 1 in 6 chance of being destroyed at the end of the round. And then this one is actually incredible. This one is a 1 in 1,000 chance of being destroyed, but it gives you times, so it doubles your multiplier. It doesn't just add +2 to your multiplier, it doubles the multiplier. Now, these are incredible cards because the adrenaline of their multipliers, especially Cavendish. Cavendish's multiplier is one of the greatest shots of adrenaline you'll ever have. It's this big number go. It's this big number, and it's incredible. But also the adrenaline of just like, oh no, will they go extinct? Oh man, like it's not as big with Cavendish because it's a 1 in 1,000 chance. But still, it's like, oh no, are they gonna go extinct? Oh no, I'm shaking at my knees. My pants are shaking right now. Oh man. Next up is Hiker, which adds 10. Whenever you play a card, it adds 10 chips to the cards. Or I think, oh wait, no, it's not 10. I think it's 5. So, frankly, so basically, you just like. Basically, you get this entire, you get this huge amount of, like chips on your cards. So you get a whole bunch of chips added to your cards. So basically, by the end of your run, it's like 90 on an ace, which is, oh man, this is crazy. Oh man, this is okay. We're good. Okay. Yep, we're good. Yep. You know, it's just nice and crazy. Yeah, medicine. Oh God. Don't worry, I'm good. Okay. All right, next up. Spare Trousers, which so this one gains +2 multiplier for each time you have a 2 pair played, or not played, or each played hand that contains a 2 pair adds +2 multipliers to this card permanently. So basically, the adrenaline here is building it up a whole bunch. Just building it up. It's especially in a full house run. This is incredible, which, as you know, I already told you guys, I'm a full house enthusiast. I love full houses. I love full houses. They're my favorite. But next up is Diet Cola. If you think this card is worthless and stupid, you're correct. But that's the exact reason that it's on this list. Okay. Sorry, I just sipped some water there. But I wish I was sipping some Diet Cola. But here's the thing. You don't realize that just because this card is pointless and stupid, that's the reason it's here. Because the only thing it does is if you sell it, it gives you a double tag, which copies the latest tag, which I don't use tags, right? So it's kind of pretty useless to me. But you don't get it. So during one run, right? I was doing pretty good. I think it was anti-5, right? And I saw this card, and I looked at it, I was like, oh man, I have so much adrenaline. This card kind of looks useless for my run. I should buy it. So now, whenever I see it, it is the immediate money waste card. I have to buy it. Whenever I see it, I have to buy it. I have to do anything to buy it. It is my Lord and Savior, Diet Cola, I will love you forever, because even though you're useless, you're my friend. Alright. Mr. Bones. This one's really good, because if you have 25% of the required chips to get past the ante, or not the ante, to get past, I guess it could be past the ante, but get past the blind, you, basically your run is saved, right? And this guy goes extinct, but basically you're not dead, which is crazy, because then you can do so much more for your run. You can save a run, which is it gives you so much adrenaline. Like when you're like, oh man, I'm saved. Oh man, it feels really good. It's just feeling incredible. And next up is Fortune Teller, which adds a +1 multiplier for each tarot card that you use. I use this card to win for my first time in Joker, which was actually that was 2 days ago. So, pretty crazy. I just used a whole bunch of different Joker cards. I had to part with it right at the end, because I got the final boss that makes you sell a Joker, and I had it at like +18 multiplier, which is pretty crazy because I used 18 different tarot cards for that run. I basically just kept using them just so I could get the multiplier up, and +18 multiplier is actually pretty good by the end. Next up is Drunkard, which, as you guys know, I'm a discard fanatic, and I used all of them a lot, thanks to, and Mystic Summit is one of my favorite cards, but Drunkard is also one of my favorite cards, because it gives you +1 discard permanently, which, having that many discards, oh man, I know the vouchers exist, but, oh man, you're just, man, that gives me so much adrenaline, just even seeing that card, oh man. Next up is Walkie Talkie, which, for a full house run enthusiast, this is an incredible card. You don't get it, okay? You just don't get it, alright? It's just, it multiplies. So basically, whenever you play a 10 or a 4, it adds 10 chips to your chips, and it adds +4 multiplier, which is a lot when you're playing like a full house of all 10s and all 4s, right? So it's or all full 4s, or if you're playing like a flush 5 of 10s or some shit. And this is it just like multiplies all of it, and it's oh god, okay. I need to Smiley Face is the next one, which the next one's actually kind of coincide with each other. Smiley Face adds +5 multiplier for each face card that is played, and that's incredible because face cards are very used in runs for me, because I usually go for full house, which means I'm searching for those face cards. I mean, ace cards are nice, but like if I can get a face card, I mean, usually ace and king is the best. Is one of the, I mean, ace king queen. So king queen jack are the best cards to pair with those ace full houses. So this is a very good card to re-trigger those extra ones. And then it's especially good paired with Sock and Bruisin', which is, if you don't know, it re-triggers every single face card. So basically, the adrenaline there, you're just getting +5. You're getting +5 multiplier. But again, you're getting again. Oh my god. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. But next up, hanging card, Joker, or hanging chat Joker. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. Oh man. 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 Hanging Chad Joker. I love this card. This is my favorite fucking card in the game, let me tell you. This is my favorite fucking card in Balatro, alright? So, Hanging Chad. What's so great about this card, right? Well, let me tell you. It re-triggers the first two cards, or the first card that you play, 2 more times. Boy, numbers, like, dog, you just don't get it, okay? The numbers that are possible with this card, and re-triggering a card 4 fucking times the card gets triggered. Holy shit. Like that, like this card, Sock and Brookskin, and Hanging Chad, that is a banging combo. That is a fucking banging combo. Alright? Because you can crazily, like, multiply your multipliers and you get big numbers and you get to play the cards a whole bunch. Just, oh man, adrenaline. I feel like I'm having 50 shots of caffeine right now. Oh man. Ceremonial Dagger, which this one is really strategic, and that's what gives me the adrenaline here. So basically, whenever Boss Blind starts, it destroys the jokers to the right of it, right? But here's the thing. But permanently, it adds its the sell value of the joker that it destroyed to its multiplier. So building it up is a really huge strategy, right? So like it's like, oh man, I gotta figure out which one I gotta figure out ways to like build it up, and building it up is like interesting because like I can't have a full set of jokers because I have to like keep buying jokers to like have it like eat. It's like the plant in Little Shop of Horrors. It's like, feed me, freaking Seymour. Yes, I want to feed it. I want to feed it so bad. Oh man, it's gonna give me everything I want. It's gonna give me so much multipliers. Give me so many big numbers. So numbers, man, numbers. All right. And then, lastly, I know it's sad to get rid of, to be done with this, but I thought it'd be kind of unfair to put a whole bunch of legendary jokers on this, but I did want to put one on there because I recently found one, and this one is incredible. Triboulet, I love you, man. Like, you're the best. You are lovely. Can we go out to Olive Garden together? Maybe get some nice pasta. I'd love some nice pasta with you, okay? Some nice chicken Alfredo. Yeah. So if you don't know, this guy, every time you play a king or a queen, right? He doubles your multiplier. He fucking doubles your multiplier every time you play a king and queen. Do you know what that fucking... No. Do you fucking know what that does? Do you? Do you fucking know what that... Do you know what that does? Do you? You know what that does? It fucking multiplies your Joker count by, like, it multiplies things by 1 billion, okay? By 1 billion, okay? So you get freaking, like, scores that are in the fucking millions. So, like, by the end of the run, you're, like, on top of the fucking world. I actually got this guy with my winning run for 2 days ago, and basically, like, he just, like, Cause like after that I got a ton of kings. I had like 10 kings in my deck, and then with that, like, I had 4 of a kind at like 25 multiplier, and I had I had full house at like 15 multiplier, and it was an incredible full house and 4 kind run, because like I just like kept playing kings and queens, and it just kept watching the numbers go up. I kept getting the through all the boss lines and everything with one card, or not one card, but with one hand, and it was just, oh my god, it was incredible. You're my Lord and Savior. You're my love. I love you, man. I'm serious about that, Olive Garden. You want to go? But yeah, this is a 27-minute video. I might cut this down, because this is planned for the Celeste video, so I might cut this down. But yeah, so that's my answer to what you gotta do with those $115. Play Balatro. Just play Balatro nonstop. Yeah, just play Balatro nonstop. Yeah, it's the most peak video game ever. It's Poker 2, which, oh man, do we ever need a Poker 2? No, but, am I happy we got one? Hell fucking yes I am. Like, dog, you don't fucking understand. This is the most adrenaline fucking game ever. And I just, man, I'm just, whew. Alright, future Matthew, editor Matthew, voice Matthew, whatever the fuck you are, take over, okay? Finally take over after 27 minutes. I know 28 minutes, like 27 minutes of the MythGamers video is dedicated to this, but you gotta be honest, it was pretty much freaking worth it, because I had so much adrenaline, I had to get this out of me. But yeah, so if you ever have 115 hours, not even for Spanish Sun, just go fucking play Balatro. It was free with PlayStation Plus like a few months ago, probably by now. Just fucking like go play it. I mean, the Steam Summer Sale was maybe a few months ago. Just fucking play Balatro. It's fucking incredible. Oh.
But there's also numerous movie series you could get into. Pirates of the Caribbean is a great series with 5 installments. Harry Potter is over 10 movies, counting the Fantastic Beasts movie spin-offs, and it's pretty freaking good. Lord of the Rings, the MCU, or Spider-Man in general, but mainly Bully Maguire has a lot of great content. There's Star Wars, Shrek, James Bond, Mission Impossible. You could binge watch Adam Sandler's whole career if you're into that sort of thing. You could also binge watch all 5 Twilight movies if you're into that sort of thing. But I mean, if you are, like, why? I mean, really? I mean, have you ever rethought life? If you don't want to wait while you do Spinner Freeze goes on, though, I would recommend looking for gaps in your schedule. For example, I did this Spinner Freeze while I was on a trip to Washington, D.C. to visit my family.
Alright, yeah, here's Midnight Monsoon, the one that is blocked by one room. Here we go. Yeah, you can even see Glaceon's kind of picking out the grass. I love those animations that they add to Glaceon. Yeah, so I will be, gone for 4 days, so I might as well just leave it on while I'm gone for those 4 days, and then be gone for another 4, so, yeah, I'll update you guys on my trip, and I'll see you, once I get back.
When we got to my family's house, I was able to see some of my favorite cats again, Rosabelle and Rockford.
How's it going? You've had such a hard day, haven't you? Such a hard day. Sitting here the entire day, laying here. We went away, and you were still here. You've just been sitting here the entire time. You're adorable. Yeah. Little kitty.
I didn't see them in a while, And I don't have a cat, so extended family is where I get my cat fix. And now, well, cats are great. I also got to meet for the first time this little pooch, Bailey. Bailey is an adorable little dog and is just a little baby. Look at her yawn. Oh my gosh. She's like a screaming goat. But she's a very young puppy with so much energy and loves her lapdog Snuggles so much.
After visiting with family, though, we got to finally see some of the main headlines of Washington, D.C.
We got to see the Air Force Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial, and my favorite, the Lincoln Memorial. I like it so much because it's featured so much in Night Museum 2.
I didn't, but I never lied. But soon enough, we had to head home.
Alright, just got home. So, when I checked it just now, one thing I immediately noticed, I was actually excited to see what kind of different things would go on with the game until we hit 118 hours, because, yeah. Look at the rain. Look at the rain effects. That's actually kind of cool. It's all glitchy down there. It doesn't... The rain effects look wrong. I don't know... The rain effects are definitely wrong. I don't know if there's anything else that is... Like, let me zoom out. I don't know if there's anything else that looks out of place.
And now, I could be here all day listening to things to do during those 115 hours we must wait, but I'd like to move on to the rest of this level.
Even with spinner freeze now, we have to be careful of the third of the spinners that are still loaded in this room. We can use this little floor to jump over and grab this jump crystal, and once we get to the platform, here jelly baiters will work, but you need to make sure you are re-grabbing the jellyfish as high as possible.
You can also get this berry with a very precise corner jump on this little one tile to get over to this jump crystal, and then get over to the red bubble with your 2 dashes. After this, though, the rest of the level is more getting around certain things quite easily with jelly baiters, corner jumps, and chain neutral jumps, which means nabbing the heart and the level's 3 berries is pretty easy.
Next up in Pufferfish Transportation Co., Granny has called MythGamers to deal with pufferfish floating around her house? I mean, usually that's not MythGamers' specialty, so... Wait a second. Did you say $500,000? You know what? I was considering switching over to the pufferfish business anyways, so I mean, you gotta start somewhere, right? This level requires lots of pufferfish supers, where you dash and jump off a pufferfish. These pufferfish supers cannot be avoided, but there's a catch.
I thought that was one of the ones that you spent something on.
That's right. When pufferfish supers are met with the tech announcer, the tech announcer actually does not count this as a super. And honestly, there's a very good reason for this anomaly. If we head into the bouncing section of the library, it explains that pufferfish supers are not supers for 2 reasons, being that they don't affect horizontal speed and they can't be reversed. With this knowledge in our mind, the level becomes much like a normal playthrough, letting us nab the heart and add 5 more berries to our total. The last main level of the intermediate lobby is Pointless Machines, which is a very manageable level for this challenge. The theme of Pointless Machines is dash sequences that must be done to unlock doors, but we'll soon learn that the word must does not mean must. Our first hurdle comes at getting this berry. The rooms before are just like normal, but in this room, the dash sequence prompts us to do a wave dash and a wall bounce, so we'll be taking a different approach by proving this machine very pointless. We'll start the room with a reverse wave dash and then dash to the right to grab the touch switch and then dash left and up. You'll then want to climb up this wall a bit and jump off it to hop over this electricity. Next, mid-air, you'll want to dash up left twice and then grab this wall. Next, jump off the wall and land on this platform. Jump off it, then do an up right dash, an upward dash, and then an up left dash to grab
The second touch switch.
Then fall to the left, and right before you hit the electricity below, dash up left to grab the wall, and then after climbing up, the berry is yours. The room following that is weirdly set up for a reverse super at the start, as if you execute it well, you can use one more rightward dash to pick up this crystal and then proceed to do the room as normal. The rest of the level preceding that is very similar to a normal playthrough, allowing us to complete the last main level of the intermediate lobby and nab 2 more berries to add to our total. Now that we are finished with all 18 levels of the intermediate lobby, it is time for me to explain why some levels are much easier than others and why I greenlit this challenge in the first place. A lot of levels in the intermediate lobby are actually mostly techless when you get down to the meat and bones of the lobby. Fragments, Botany, Eat Girl, Infiltration, Conundrum, Deep Blue, Pufferfish Transportation Co, and Pointless Machines all feature little to no intermediate tech. Such levels are commonly referred to as techless. The other levels in the lobby seemed as if their tech was avoidable as long as the player was smart. And it seems that is very true, but now that that clarification is settled, we're not done yet.
That's right, every lobby in Celeste Strawberry Jam ends with one final level called the Heartside, which features one room from every level in each lobby, acting as the final challenge for said lobby. The intermediate Heartside, without intermediate tech, is a combination of everything we've learned up until now, applied to the most difficult form, giving us one more climactic level. But can we beat the intermediate Heartside without intermediate tech? Well, we've got 18 rooms, and there's only one way to answer this question. Flag 18, 5th Dimension, one of the first circles of wall bounce hell, and just like the regular level, to skip a whole bunch of wall bounces in this room, we're gonna have to chain a lot of corner jumps in not necessarily convenient places. Things ramp up even more in Flag 17, the Tower, and Flag 16, Vertigo, when corner kicks and neutral jumps are added into the mix. At the end of the Vertigo flag, just like the actual level, there's a pretty tight death warp we'll have to take in order to shave off some wall bounces. Dash up and demo dash through this wall of spinners. Thankfully, this gray diamond can help as a marker in some situations. Ideally, you want to demo dash when the top half of your sprite is just barely above the diamond. Once you input the demo dash, immediately start spamming the pause button. You want to make the game go frame by frame. On the first frame of the teleport, press retry, and for some reason you'll respawn at the end of the room and be able to move on. Flag 15, Eat Girl, is easy. Get dizzy and battling might eat you, so keep it simple. Flag 14, Sea of Soup, is more the original level, but in order to keep enough dashes for the end of the room, we'll need another bubble hyper. So we need to use one dash to get over these spikes and then head over this bubble, go down in this bubble, and then quickly head to the left for the other bubble. If you are fast enough, you can make it to the other bubble with more than enough time to input a bubble hyper that won't be intercepted by this other bubble. If we hold left at a precise time, and from there, we can jump into this bubble. Keep doing this section as normal as possible, but when you get to this part, instead of using a totally lame wall bounce, just keep falling until you make this platform appear and then jump off it and you'll be able to dash into this bubble. Flag 13, Fragments, and Flag 12, Honeyzip Inc, we get a bit of a break. Just make sure to sneak in some fast falling in Fragments room just so you can keep up with the moving blocks. And Flag 11, Temple of a Thousand Skies, just like the original level, test their skills with the reverse tech and neutral jumps. Unfortunately, the second half of this room will trick your brain. There's this dash crystal on an ice wall that we're supposed to wall bounce off of. And usually, this can be skipped via stalling with neutral jumps. But this dash crystal doesn't respawn. Next, these spikes, due to an unpleasant spike placement, there's no way to make it through the dream block with a single dash, which means we need to preserve this crystal. The good news is that there's a space between the wall and the dash crystal. It's the exact same amount of pixels wide as Madeline or Glaceon for cooler people. After going up in this bubble, head to the left a little so that when you dash up, you'll be corner corrected by the bottom corner of this wall. Once you input the dash, immediately start holding left and make sure you don't hit the dash crystal. If you did it right, you'll be able to dash inside the dash crystal to dash up and then dash to the dream block. After that, the end of the room is only a few reverse wave dashes away. Flag 10, Square the Circle, has some very tight reverse tech and some quick climb jumps to avoid wall bounces, but it's all possible. For the final jump, I recommend
first going out of the bubble down right, and then executing a reverse wave dash bunny hop on your own dash on this Kevin. This is because when you every time you jump off a moving block, its speed is added to yours. So when doing a hyper bunny hop off this Kevin, this may be ludicrously tight, but your reward is pure speed. Flag 9, Sleeping Under the Stars, just like the original level, has us using lots of jellyfish and a few reverse supers, wave dashes, or hypers. The intended way to set up this jellyfish for future moments is to do a neutral drop with the jellyfish on this one-way platform, but without neutral drops, we'll have to instead give Glaceon some snazzy shades and make some precise jellyfish trick shots onto the platform. Flag 8, Supernautica, puts us in a very sticky situation.
Okay, we are cooked. Yep, we are absolutely cooked, chat. GG.
That's right, the crumble platforms that were supposed to be used to super off of have been reduced from 6 tiles long now to only 5 tiles long. While 5 tile running hops might be possible, there's a much better solution that might come a little easier. Start the room with a reverse wave dash bunny hop, and then bring this jelly to this platform by using a jelly baiter. Float down here and you'll be able to form another tight jelly baiter. Throw the jellyfish into the pipe above and land on this platform, then do a reverse extended super to get enough distance to dash into the pipe. From there, since pipes are essentially dream blocks, we can grab the side of the pipe and then jump up and to the left to grab the jellyfish that we threw into the pipe. From here, we're actually going to need to dash into this pipe, which means we need to use this jellyfish to save our dash for the entire way there. This means we'll have to learn a new trick known as the jelly climb. A jelly climb is when you perform a neutral drop to drop a jellyfish in the air while up against a wall and do a climb jump to pick the jelly back up. This allows us to carry jellyfishes across large distances and up walls without a dash. This is allowed for the same reasons that a jelly vader is allowed in this challenge, because that when you perform a jelly climb, the jellyfish never touches the ground, and the jelly climb is technically classified as expert tech because it makes an appearance in the expert gym. Here, if we perform the jelly climbs with perfect spacing and height, using every leniency the game gives us, especially being 2 pixels off the wall when doing a climb jump, we can just barely get high enough to snag the bottom edge of this pipe. From there, we're one jelly climb up away from a very slow but epic ascension. And I do mean slow. Flag 7, Infiltration, is quite easy, but in Flag 6, Pointless Machines, it's time to show just how pointless these machines are by completely ignoring them. Start the room with a reverse wave dash, and then do a down left and down right to dash to grab the double dash crystal. Next, dash up twice to grab this block, and then jump off it to the right. After using our dashes to collect the touch switch up there, make sure to save one dash and fast fall downward to collect this touch switch. At the bottom of the room, you'll have enough time to dash into this platform with the springs on it, grab this block, and you'll be plummeting towards, and then dash up to grab our third touch switch. After a down left and up right dash into the springs to collect the last touch switch, the touch switch will bring you up to ultimately allow you to destroy the electricity box and reave through the rest of the room using a few corner jumps. At the end of the room, make sure to save 2 dashes in order to dash up over this wall that would also block us otherwise. In order to do said dashes, a neutral jump seems to get the best starting setup and height for the dashes. After that, we get a bit of a break with Flag 5, Pufferfish Transportation Co., Flag 4, Deep Blue, and even Flag 3, Construction Conundrum are quite easy, and more just about managing space, especially in Deep Blue. Flag 2, Midnight Monsoon, is also pretty easy. Just make sure to delay your jump on this wave dash to make sure it won't be a wave dash, and hold up with your jellyfish to make sure you have just barely enough space to float down into the red bubble. Which means we are one room away from being the entirety of the intermediate lobby of Celeste Strawberry Jam without intermediate tech. Even if we're so close, such a feat won't seem to come so easily, as Flag 1, Low G Botany, is quite a pickle. The one level where it's been very easy. You see, once we make it to this moon block using what we already know, once we get to the other side, we're going to be forced into a wall bounce, and it looks like getting past this is going to be a big problem. But it's Flag 1! Surely if the rest of the Heartside wasn't even that hard, this isn't going to take us down, right? Well, that's the hope, but dreams don't always come true. A jump over the spinners is way too low. There does seem to be a lot of holes around the level, and maybe they could lead to the end somehow, but they all actually to dead ends. Going under with a demo dash also seems like an interesting idea, but there is a problem. Even if you were able to get down there with without spontaneously combusting yourself, we wouldn't be able to do anything after we demo dash through because we don't have a dash. But it's Flag 1! It has to be possible. I know Spinner's Freeze still exists, but I bet y'all think that's super anticlimactic, and I don't even think lab rats will be enough to fix the horrible wait this time. But what if you never had to watch lab rats? That's right, because the whole time, I've been a dirty little liar about how possible this challenge is, because the answer to the question, can you beat Celeste Strawberry Jam Intermediate Lobby without intermediate tech, is yes. Yes, you can. Even without Spinner Freeze. Which means it's time to go back to when I finally chose to call in more forces so we could rise up against the Celeste Strawberry Jam Intermediate Lobby. I initially did this when I was trying to do Square the Circle. I already realized that I was having a ton of trouble freezing the lightning because the requirements to do it right were so specific, especially in this room. So I sent a message to the RTA Valuable channel of the Mount Celeste Climbing Association Discord. A whole bunch of people started theorizing possible solutions, and this is how we figured out we were 0.69 pixels away from hitting the touch switch here. Eventually, things started to look bleak, but the mechanics were still very confusing to me on how some things worked, so one lone tasser, Alexa, stepped up to explain a few things over a voice call. She not only explained how electricity works, but she also explained a strategy for the second part of the room featuring the problem spot. As she was explaining this, I realized 2 things about Alexa. As she was explaining this, I realized 2 things about Alexa. She's very skilled, being a tasser for some of the hardest challenges in Celeste, such as Monica's Farewell D-side minimum dashes. She also knows a lot of things about the game. I knew multi-boosting was a thing in Celeste, but I had no idea it went way deeper than what the expert gym of Celeste Strawberry Jam teaches you. Maybe with her help. I mean, it can't hurt to ask, right?
I do one frame of not left, and then I do left and climb and jump again, giving myself all the way up to 598 speed, which is just enough to rocket me all the way over to here.
Boy, am I glad I asked, because over the next couple hours, she proved just how possible it is to beat the intermediate lobby of Celeste Strawberry Jam without intermediate tech. Let's start with the 5th dimension. A wall jump from this wall wasn't giving enough height to reach the bubble, but you can actually grab the wall above and have Glaceon right below the spinner on this little tiny pixel. Hold right and let go of grab. If you did it right, you'll get that 2-pixel wall jump leniency, which will allow you to jump off the wall at a lower point that's further away from the wall and doesn't hit the spinner, allowing us to jump straight into the bubble. This does mean I hit this random guy with a ball, breaking his glasses, for nothing. What a loser! Next up, Midnight Monsoon. I know technically Square the Circle comes first in the logbook, but I'm going to explain Midnight Monsoon first, as that one was solved first, and it's a lot more climactic to have Square the Circle at last. You'll see why. Here, it's a lot more complicated, but it's all possible. You see, in the room prior to our room with the problem spot, we can actually obtain a jellyfish and carry it through. This won't be easy, though, because you need to do a jellyvator that goes over the screen barrier. Then you have to precisely float over these spinners and float down into this little hole, and then from there you need to neutral chop the jellyfish and grab this touch switch and then perform a perfect jelly climb with height, and you'll be able to float back over the spinners. This means that you'll be able to float down to the end of the room and carry a jellyfish over to the other screen, and then the next room is trivial with the jellyfish. I mean, is it even a question? But now that we have a jellyfish, skipping the wall bounce is very easy. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to execute this though, and this footage actually comes from the minimum dash task of the Celeste Strawberry Jam Intermediate Lobby, and I wasn't able to execute this because this is mostly blind, and I'm not that good. But now, for Square the Circle, the level that made me ask the Discord in the first place. After solving 5th Dimension, Midnight Monsoon, a few other rooms in Square the Circle, and the Heartside, more on that later, we were just sitting in this room, Alexa and I, and we were about to throw in the towel. Although Alexa did bring something up of interest. You see, in this room, the spawn point parameters are really strange. So if we're able to land in the middle of this lightning patch at the top of the room, we would be teleported to the second half of this room. Conveniently, right above this patch of lightning is the barrier room. That was proved very possible. And while lightning can be frozen and stunned, we can also take it off the screen and then unload it. This means that once we exit the binoculars, we have until the camera catches up to us where the lightning is unloaded. But unfortunately, without any kind of hyper, Alexa faced the fact that there was no way we were going to be quick enough to beat the light and the camera before it was able to get back down to us and load the lightning. I knew what I had to do. With a smart-ass smirk on my face and a middle finger pointing up to the concept of intermediate movement tech in Celeste, it's time to actually the fuck out of this room, because actually, reverse hypers are technically allowed. First, look all the way up on these binoculars and then exit out of them. Immediately once the game gives you back control, start with a 1-frame reverse hyper. I actually recommend this hyper be done with a regular down diagonal dash instead of a demo dash, as a down diagonal dash travels along the ground faster than a demo dash, and you're going to need that extra time. After you input the hyper, make sure the jump button isn't held for too long, as you want the hyper to be low. From there, we need to do a short jump on this little section of land and then dash down right. The dash will be extended thanks to your extra speed, and if you do everything right, you'll just barely have enough time to beat the lightning back to its place, and you'll transfer into the room below. Immediately die, and then immediately respawn into this second half of the room, skipping the dreaded wall bounce. Remember, this is mostly going to be performed blind, so it's best to remember the sequence of moves and just keep trying for it. Again, practice it without the binoculars and the blindness is good, and massive thanks to Alexa for finding this very cool strategy. A race against electricity is a place I would have never expected this challenge to go. God, this is so cool. This means we are only one room away from being able to beat Celeste Strawberry Jam's intermediate lobby without intermediate tech. But to get past this last room, we're going to need a much bigger boat. You see, the platform we are supposed to use to perform a wall bounce off of is a moon block, which means it moves up and down on a cycle. This means that if we jump off this wall while the block is moving up and then start tapping left, we can actually land on top of this block and regain our dash. This happens because at the edge of the platform, the spinner's hitboxes only reach 2 pixels above the platform. Glaceon has a hitbox, the bigger green box, and a hurt box, the smaller red box. There's a small gap between these boxes, and Glaceon only dies when the hurt box collides with the spinner. This means that if we land on the platform while it's moving upward, we actually skip the frame where Glaceon was supposed to die, and the game doesn't even check if we're on a hazard. And this allows us to regain our dash and then jump off the platform and dash up right over this wall of spinners. After a few more reverse wave dashes and turning off the electricity, we can head over into the elevator, making our epic descend, climb up on this beautiful tree, gaze upon the final heart of the challenge, and dash into it. So, now we ask the question, can you beat Celeste Strawberry Jam Intermediate Lobby without Intermediate Tech? Yes. A resounding yes, which means we have another mission complete under our belt. Heck, we can even add a gold star to this mission complete because we collected all 50 berries in the lobby. Overall, this is by far one of my favorite MythGamers episodes, if not my favorite, probably my favorite, let's be honest. The run was super fun, and the ending was very satisfying. I liked that about this challenge is that how much it differs from other runs. This one is very complex, with many different tricks that keep getting added to our arsenal, combining to make a run that is incredibly fluent movement, and it's to the point where I honestly might want to try speedrunning this challenge on stream. I also love how the ending is a show of how powerful the Celeste community and video game communities are as a whole, and that ending made keeping the secret of how possible this all was without Spinner Freeze worth it. And let's be honest, Spinner Freeze made this journey much more fun. I think the way let me play along with so many different bits throughout the video, where this isn't just a random MythGamers video on an obscure mod of an already obscure indie game, it was a movie. So, with another mission complete under our belt, you might ask, what comes next for MythGamers? Soon, I'll start working on 2 episodes at the same time. First up, can you beat Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance at level 1? My friend and I are big into Dungeons & Dragons, and this is one of the biggest Dungeons & Dragons video games ever. Being at level 1 is going to be one of the most fun collaborative challenges ever, and after that, it's time for the Christmas special. It's finally time for the long-awaited Can You Beat Tattletale Without Shaking the Flashlight? This is going to be a very scary run for me, as I am an absolute wimp. But don't think I'm not excited, because being a wimp is why I love horror games in the first place. I love a good scare, and a good scare in complete darkness and a screaming Furby for extra flair sounds like a ton of fun. With that said, I thank you for making it this far in the video. I mean, heck, this probably reached over 2 hours, didn't it? If you liked it, please like the video and subscribe. Oh, and also you can hit that bell icon to make sure you never miss another one of my videos. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and Phil, would you please get off the counter?